Well, hello and welcome. My name is Velma. You can connect with me at velmanolds.com. This is all about your leadership chat. What does that mean? You get to listen in on valuable insights from valuable leaders just like you. I want to encourage you to go ahead and subscribe so that you never miss another episode. And if this is of value to you, please share the nuggets that you're going to take away from all these great leaders. Hey, please give a big welcome to my special guest and your valuable leader, Michael Tatenolli. Michael, welcome to your leadership chat.
Yes, thank you, Velma, for having me. I'm excited to be here, so thank you.
Yeah, did I get the last name right?
Yeah,
Tatenolli.
yeah. You're good. Yes.
For everybody listening in, I was practicing that one, but thank you for saving me there, Michael.
Of
Hey,
course.
so I'm just delighted. I'm just delighted to have you here, and I would love for you to kick us off and share a little bit about um, a little bit about you, what you do, and just tell the listeners, yeah, give us a little intro. I know, but
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I'm Michael. I run a consulting firm called Pricing for Associations,
yeah,
and we focus on pricing and value strategy with professional and trade associations, so nonprofits. We've been doing this now for 4 years, and I lead a team. There's five of us, six
yeah.
currently, actually, and yeah, I've been doing this for 4 years. I've been in leadership roles now, gosh, I don't even know, for well over 10 years. And yeah, I love what I do. I love working with nonprofits.
Yeah, no, and I've seen you in action, so I've been and watched you in and how practical your approach is to helping nonprofits truly understand their value. And
Yeah.
so yeah, so that's sweet. And we share that. We both love associations and their cause and the mission. So I'm just tickled pink to have you here today. So
Yes,
yeah.
yes, yes.
Okay, well, so I'd love to dig in. And one of the things I shamefully do on this podcast is I do promote my book, The Valuable Leader. And so my first question out of the gate is I would love for you to share who in your life is a valuable leader or has been a valuable leader. And why would you say that about that person? Tell us the story.
Yeah, so there's two people that come to mind. The first one is someone who was a mentor to me years ago, up until probably about 4 years ago now, around the time that I started the business.
Yeah.
Um, and she was she was someone that I had known for probably 10 years.
Mhm.
And we had met through a role. She actually was running a company at the time. I worked for that company. And this was someone, her name was Suzanne. So let me say, because otherwise it sounds weird
Yeah,
not
yeah, right. Like, who is
acknowledging.
this mysterious
Yes, yeah,
person?
yeah, yeah, yeah. But her name was Suzanne. One thing that really helped me under her leadership was she was very visionary and very focused on values. And
Mm,
that's something that I learned was what are your values as a professional, as an organization? Like, what's the mission and vision of your organization?
mhm.
What are the values, kind of those guiding posts of how you operate, and being able to communicate that, because we all have values, but being able to put words to it and communicate that so that people or organizations can quickly get to know who we are,
Mhm.
and process that. One of the big things that she really helped me with was actually when I was starting my business. So at the time, I was thinking I wanted to do my own business, but I was planning on being a bit broader and focusing on marketing and content strategy and sales funnels. With associations, I had already been doing it with small businesses successfully.
Right.
Um, but it wasn't taking off. The market was kind of saturated there. And
Okay.
one thing that she asked me, I was debating between starting my business and maybe moving into a CEO role at an association. I was a VP at the time. So I
Yeah.
was at this trajectory of, okay, I really felt like starting my own business, but the market was saturated. And then moving up to CEO, but the idea of reporting to a board, which changes and is not always right, like that didn't quite sit right either for me. And so she asked me some questions. She was like, what do you value most? What do you want
Mm,
your life to look like? And I was like, I want to be able to have freedom of time, and create my own schedule. I have 5 kids, so that's very important to me to be active and,
Right.
chaperone field trips and all those things.
Sure.
Um, but I also want the creative freedom to make decisions rather than a board who is transient and does have the organization's best interest at heart, but sometimes makes short-sighted decisions. I wanted the freedom
Hmm.
to do what I wanted. And so as we talked about that, she was like, then working for yourself sounds like the right answer.
Right.
And pricing kept coming up.
Hmm.
Associations were asking about pricing, but I was telling her, I don't want to do pricing. I feel like it's boring. And it's just the numbers. I don't want to.
Right.
And she was like, but what you're really helping them with is their value and aligning the value with the price. And that is marketing. And
Mm.
that helped me go, okay, I can find where I'm passionate.
Yeah.
And what I've also found is I'm very passionate about financial sustainability of the nonprofits. So she really helped me align my values. But that was something I had seen for 10 years prior
Yeah.
in her own organization, in her own work. The
Hmm.
other leader that I think of who's been valuable in my own life is Kiki L'Italian, who runs Association Chat,
Yeah.
is a part of Big Red M now. But she's someone, the reason I think of her as a leader is she is so giving
Yeah.
in her knowledge.
Yeah.
And it was such a model for me. I mean, the association space, this niche is very much that way. It's a very giving, open field. And I've worked in associations now for, well, and nonprofits now for about 20 years. So I knew that.
Yeah.
But as I transitioned into consulting myself, um, Kiki was someone that I spoke to. She actually helped me pick the name pricing for associations.
Yeah.
Um, and I would talk to her and she would just freely give advice and wisdom based on her knowledge, and
Hmm.
her modeling that for me really I already knew to be open and giving, but it just reaffirmed for me the
Sure.
type of person that I wanted to be and to keep paying it forward and just helping in our field rather than having a scarcity mindset where you're gatekeeping and saying, oh, I need people to
Yeah.
pay me to get this information or to help,
Yeah.
but to have boundaries, right? But to
Yeah.
be willing to help and give and have
Sure.
this open giving mindset. So those are 2 leaders that I feel have really impacted who I am today as a CEO, as someone leading a firm.
Sure.
They've had very tangible impacts
Hmm.
on who I am.
Yeah, I wrote down two words that I took away in and not in the order that you gave them to me, but they go together. And that
Nice.
was, the fact that you have to be giving and then you
Mhm.
have to understand value. And so I was like, give value in what
Yes.
you do every day, understanding your values. But for you, it's like, you learned about the power of giving, even though we know it.
Mhm.
I love that you said, it was modeled for you
Yes.
and then understanding value. So it's a beautiful thing. And oh man, I would love to know what other questions Suzanne asked you. Like,
Yes. Yeah.
what do you value most? And I was like
Yes.
taking notes.
Yeah. No, I mean, I remember that day vividly. It
Yeah,
was around July of 2020.
right.
And we were in the office with this big whiteboard. I mean, like we really,
Yeah,
so without going into, but it wasn't just a quick,
right.
this was like a 1 or 2 hour, like, okay, let's talk, let's write down what do you value.
Hmm.
And for me, what was really evident was freedom of my time and my
Yeah,
ability to be a parent, but do meaningful work that made me feel alive, not just working for the paycheck, but feeling like I'm making a difference. So
yeah,
figuring out, well, here's an avenue for you to do. I mean, it was just such a good, and again, that's who she is. That's part of, I would say, her brilliance as a
right,
leader
right.
is really around, yeah, like values and mission and vision and how are you getting there? Why are you doing what you're doing? So it was really, yeah, it was really powerful.
Oh my goodness. I love it. And just love her heart
Mhm,
because
mhm.
she was doing exactly what, Kiki was telling you to do is just to give. I mean, like you said,
Yes.
she took time out. I remember
Yeah.
when I wrote the book, The Valuable Leader, my mentor at the time was a fire chief. And he said,
Mhm.
come over to the station. And, as we waited for, Lord forbid, as we waited for emergencies to happen, we were on this big whiteboard in the conference and he helped me map out the book. I mean, and I walked away and it was the whole day. The
Yep.
man, I mean, he gave so much.
Yep.
So yeah, so I hear you as you land that plane with both of those women, powerful women in your life.
Yes.
All
Yes.
right, so now you know. So you know what it's like to have a valuable leader in your life. You know what it's like to have someone, help you to really define what you want to do, who you are, all those things. So how do you, Michael, how do you pay it forward? We were talking about that. How do you
Mhm.
impact others so that they could see their own value as a leader themselves?
Yeah, so I think there's a few ways that I do that. One is with my own team.
Yeah,
And one of the beauties about starting my own business, of course, there's many struggles and challenges and lessons. But one of the great things is you get to set the culture
yeah.
and the vision and mission from the start. You're
Hmm.
not stepping into something that's already established and having to do change management. You're
Sure.
able to say, this is who we are. So, one way that I do that, I really believe in keeping my team happy. So, having like flexible work hours, not micromanaging, having clear systems and SOPs in place and expectations, paying well, giving bonuses, understanding what motivates, what do they want, what does their right, like the same way I was able to figure out here's what my ideal work situation looks like,
Sure.
being able to have that conversation with them and within reason figure out how do we cultivate that,
Right.
what's feasible, what's realistic.
Hmm.
So that's one way. Another way for me is, of course, giving back within the industry and just, there are things like, we have our own book out there and we give it
Yes.
away for free on our website. So you can buy the paperback on Amazon if you want it on your bookshelf and you want to mark it up, but we give it away because it's about helping the field. And
Sure.
I feel like, again, that giving mentality,
Hmm.
it's always going to come back.
Yeah.
People value and see genuine authenticity when you really do want to help and you're not just there to, nickel and dime.
Yeah.
And then the third way, and this is something recent that's been really cool, is I've been mentoring just for, again, giving, not like a paid business coaching thing, but mentoring as I can other consultants in the space in areas. So some of them have been coming to me like, okay, you've hired a team. How did you scale? How did you decide? How did you, or how have you priced things? I have other, people that come to me and ask, okay, outside of pricing for associations, how do you price your services? How are you, or
Yeah.
what's your project management tool? How are you creating systems for client deliverables, or what CRM are you using? What's your sales process like? So just helping others. It's like
Yeah.
the more that we all you, you know rise together
Yeah.
and have more excellence, like it's a good thing. It creates friendships, it creates a network that's willing to recommend you and speak highly of you in rooms
Yeah.
that you're not even in, because again, that genuineness of just giving to me
Yes.
is important. So those are ways I feel like I try to give back
Yeah.
and be a valuable leader, is really cultivating the right environment for my own team, and then giving back to the field in general, and then giving back to other consultants and
Mhm.
small business owners with whatever I can, because
Right.
God knows there are things then that I can ask them in return and say, okay, how are you doing
Yes.
this? So just helping, just
Yeah.
just being a good person
Yeah, no,
is
I love that, and I knew that about you from I know I've got goose pimples now. Just be a good person, and
yeah.
I knew that about you when I met you. I was like, and I didn't know all the things for the last 4 years you were doing. I was just like, it's just a good person. The guy's got a genuine heart to want to help people.
Yeah.
And it's so true. I read this morning a post someone had out on social media, and it says, uh, "I'm not in competition with you because I want you to win."
Right.
And
There's
yeah,
enough, yeah, there is enough. That's the thing. Yeah, no, there is enough business to go around,
yeah,
and I believe in that strongly. Again, getting
yeah,
rid of that scarcity mindset and just saying
mhm,
no, like, well, there's enough for everybody. And the right deals will come to me, the right
yeah,
clients will come to
right,
me. There are times where I do partner with other firms because they have something valuable to add to a client. There
sure,
are times where I recommend other firms and I say,
right,
hey, we this is what we do really well. And
Right.
if you need this, we are your firm. But if you need that, here's
Right.
others that could probably, do that for you. Or
Right.
and I think that authenticity, that honesty, it builds trust
Sure.
to then say, okay, we know that you do the, but that also speaks to niching a bit. Sometimes I think people try to be everything to everybody.
Right.
And I think for us, niching and saying this is the one thing we're focusing in on,
Hmm.
that gives space. If we were trying to be everything to everybody, then we would probably say, nope, we could take on all of these different
Yeah.
deals and it would be more competition mindset. But in niching, it's like, no, this is where we focus. This is what
Right.
we do really well, and we're your people for that. But if
Yeah.
it's not that,
Right.
we have a whole slew of other great, good human beings, other good firms that we can recommend for all those other things because we want you to win. We want you to succeed.
Yeah, you summarized it so well because it does come back to the fact that you are here with a purpose for a certain group of people.
Yeah.
And like you said, they're your people, then that's where you're going to resonate. And some you're not going to resonate with, and that's okay, or you're not going to have what they need, but you could be that conduit, that connector to someone that can meet their needs. And that is going to pay huge dividends
Yep.
from them because they're going to say, you know what, Michael is at focused on my best interest, even though he might not have that particular, skill set or service offering in his repertoire. He connected me to the right person, so it's going to pay back. I'm
Yep.
hands down. You'll get a payoff. Okay.
Totally.
Some great big bombs you've been dropping here. So my next question is really about the fact that people listening in, they always want to know, so what's in it for me? Like, okay, what would be one big takeaway that Michael would say to the listeners on how you believe that they can become more of a valuable leader in their own life? What would you say? What's that big takeaway?
Yeah, I would say that I think that it's caught, not taught. And so what I
Mm,
mean by that is I think leadership, you have to be around other great leaders,
right,
and you catch what they do. It's not just, again, like we've written a book, you've written a book, I love a book, I love a course, I love, and you get nuggets from even
right,
from this podcast, right? I'm sure people will get nuggets from it. But those are more quick transactional things that do help. But being around
yeah,
other leaders and really almost picking what organizations you work at, or if you run your own, choosing who else you hang around and
sure,
network with. You have to be around other great leaders to see them in action, because even if I wrote, or spoke on this podcast about 10 leadership lessons, God knows
right,
there's 1,000 that I have.
right,
And you may not know what you need from me until you're just watching me in action and you're like, whoa, he just did that. Or even how you wrote down things that you got, other people might have other
yes,
takeaways. So
hmm,
to me, being around good leaders
yeah,
and observing what they do and then taking what you need, I honestly, I feel like that's the most important thing. I think leadership is caught, not taught. I
hmm,
think, again, we can teach all we want, but when you are in the midst of making decisions,
yeah,
how you speak to people, how you can, just even seeing the fruit in other people, like knowing that, okay, again, I can make referrals, but those referrals come back. Then I have those same people saying, hey,
yeah,
when you need this, Michael is your guy.
right,
Versus, so seeing that ecosystem of how you speak to people, how you treat people, how
sure,
you respond when someone needs the day off, how you onboard, how you choose to hire,
yeah,
like those are things to me that you have to kind of go through, and so surrounding yourself with good people, I really think that's the most important thing,
yeah.
um uh for learning how to be a great leader.
Oh, absolutely. And that's you kind of uncovered one of my uh reasons for doing this podcast. Because for those that know the backstory, they're like, Velma didn't want to do this, didn't want to go on camera, did not want to, do this. But I thought the best way to help other people and feel like, they're that I'm doing them a good service is to bring in valuable leaders to talk about either their insight or the valuable lessons that they've learned from others. So it's kind of a double whammy for me. I get, kind of bookend here because I'm surrounding myself, like you said, and people that listen in are surrounding themselves with maybe leaders, Michael, that we would never get to touch. Like I always say, a lot of my mentors in my life over the past, over the course of my life are people I've never met
Yep. Yep.
because
Yep.
I've only met them in the podcast, or I've met them on the YouTube video, or I've met them in the book, or or a course or something. That's where I met and learned. And like you say, you pick up different things, but there's so many opportunities to do exactly what you said, to surround yourself either physically or mentally, right, by connecting in those various channels to people that model the way for you to
Mhm.
learn how to be a valuable leader.
Absolutely.
Damn, drop the
Absolutely.
mic. Okay, I love it. I love it. This is so good. We're about to land the plane because this is short and
Yeah.
tidbits people can take away. So I would love for you to give it listeners and learn more about how can they follow you, connect with you, find you. How could they get either the physical or the the ebook downloadable of your book. So tell us a little bit about how to connect with you and follow you.
Yeah, so I would say two avenues. The first is if you want to connect with me as an individual, then LinkedIn is the best place to do that.
Right.
And you can find me there, Dr. Michael Tatenolli. And we can connect there if you ever have any questions or just want to be, again, networking. And then as far as the business goes, if anyone's ever, interested in looking at what we do,
Right.
our website is pricingforassociations.com.
Right.
And there's a link there for the book if they're interested in that. They can opt into our email list. That's how you can get it for free. We have a ton of blogs, I think about 100 different articles now on the website.
Yeah.
So you can get in touch with us as a team there if you're an association looking for help with that. But so yeah, I would say LinkedIn for me as an individual, and then pricingforassociations.com to connect with us as a firm.
Wow. Yes. Beautiful. Thank you so much. And they can get the book on
Yes.
Amazon or at pricingforassociations.com, correct?
Correct. Yeah, yeah. So we have a link to it. You can just go on Amazon and search for pricing for associations, or if you go to the website, we have a landing page there. You'll see a link for the book. That'll link it to Amazon as well. Or if you join the email list on the pop-up, then you get the PDF for free. It'll get sent to your email list or to your email address. Sorry.
Right.
So
Right.
if you're looking to read up on pricing strategies, then you can gather it that way.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you. I just want to give you a virtual hug and thank you so much, Michael, for your time and for just sharing and being so well prepared. I know you thought about all of this and our time together. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you and your time.
Of course. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks so much for watching another episode of Your Leadership Chat. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button here and tap that bell icon so that you never miss another episode. I hope too that you'll give us a thumbs up on the video for a like. And then if you feel led, please share the video with those who need to see it. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time on Your Leadership Chat. Bye for now.